I welcome you to your transformative program, Politics and Beyond. My name is Emmanuel Jr., the Chief Crusader Against Corruption here in Ghana. Just a little over a year ago, in the month of April 2025, we had a discussion on a very interesting topic, which had to do with Ghana's water, sanitation, and hygiene situation. And we asked ourselves then whether there was some crisis looming or whether or not we should see it as a prospect. We delved into it, we had a conversation. A year on, it is so important and prudent that we come back and discuss what is the state of Ghana's water, sanitation, and hygiene, whether or not we are making progress, whether or not we are not making progress. It will interest you to know that as far back as 2020, open defecation in Ghana, the statistics suggested to us that we had 17.5% of Ghana's population who were still engaging in open defecation, and that was as far back as 2020. In the year 2025, that was last year, research and statistics also suggested to us that the figure 17.5% in 2020 has moved to 18%. And it brings to bear whether or not we are making progress or we are not making progress. And that also brings to mind one question that I keep asking, whether this country called Ghana, we indeed have leaders who are occupying leadership positions, or we only have individuals who are occupying leadership positions, but they are exhibiting managerial skills instead of leadership skills. Remember, there are two different things: a manager and a leader. Often not, we appoint individuals to be holding leadership positions. So we say that this is the leader of this sector. This is the leader of that sector, whether presidents, whether ministries, whether agencies, and all that. We talk about leaders, but it is very clear that instead of us having leaders, true leaders holding leadership positions, we end up having individuals, probably in the form of politicians, holding leadership positions, but with managerial skills instead of leadership skills. And that has been one of the key problems that we've been having in this country. It is quite sudden that from 2020 to date, if we are comparing statistics, it would have been good for us to say that from 17.5 open defecation, now we can confidently say that it has been eradicated, or we are now doing a single figure, just as we are boasting of having a single figure inflation. We could have just said 2%, 3%, but unfortunately, it has moved from 17.5% to 18%. These are the things that we'll be discussing and we'll be talking about. So the question we are asking ourselves has to do with the Ghana's water, sanitation, and hygiene situation, a crisis or a prospect. Remember three things, but this evening we'll dwell a bit more on one aspect of it. We are looking at water, we are looking at sanitation, we are looking at hygiene. But as I indicated, we'll dwell a bit more on one of these three components that we've talked about. It is quite worrying, and it is important we discuss it. I'm going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I'll introduce to you the guests that we have, and then we'll zoom into this conversation because it is really dear to my heart. Stay tuned, I'll be right back.
The average human body mass should have at least 60% water for optimal performance in any physical or mental exercise. We can help you maintain it naturally. Natural mineral water. Simply natural. For bulk purchase, call 0596 273 546 or 0596 273 547. This advert is FDA approved.
Hello, Ghana. Payday is here. Stand a chance to win instant cash prizes on Review Scratch for Win. Up to 100,000 Ghana cedis to be won today. Get ready to play Review Scratch for Win to win big on TV XYZ. Stop scrolling and start winning. It's simple. Dial *850 *6# on all networks. Choose your card type and select your lucky card for a chance to win big. Play with at least 5 Ghana cedis or more. You could win up to 100,000 Ghana cedis in cash prizes instantly. Yes, you heard right. 100,000 Ghana cedis in cash prizes. Don't miss out on the chance to win big. Dial *850 *6# to play now. Review Scratch for Win. Scratch it again. Baby Sikase found. You must be 18 years and above to play. Terms and conditions apply. This game is regulated and approved by the NMA and the Caritas Council.
Welcome back. And as I indicated, we are in to have a conversation on something that is so important, very dear. And for us to repeat it again to let you know that it is really dear to my heart. And so you may want to christen this evening's conversation as a part 2 of what transpired last year, April, on the topic, Ghana's water, sanitation, and hygiene situation, whether it is a crisis or it's a prospect. Depending on how you look at it, you want to give a solution to it. If you see it as a crisis, you will give a solution to it. If you see it as a prospect, you will give a solution to it. But as I indicated before we went on break, statistically, as far back as 2020, we had about 17.5% of households or individuals, that's the population of this country, engaging in open defecation. And you know what that means. Fast forward, from 2020 to 2025, 5 years on, we as a country cannot boast of improvement. But shamefully, we have recorded, that is statistically, we have recorded an increment in this figure from 17.5% to 18%. That is the challenge, that is the reality that we have. And I was asking ourselves whether or not we have leaders in this country, or we only have managers in this country, people who just come and manage situation and the time is up, they leave. Or we have people who can think outside the box, who will give us practical solutions. Just this afternoon, I was listening to one minister whom we are paying with our taxes when he was talking about open defecation. And I was taken aback because about 95% of his presentation had to do with lamentation, talking about the problems and lamenting and telling us what we know already. What, even if we didn't know, statistically in the year 2020, it came to bear. We knew already, or we know already. And there wasn't any practical solution this minister could profess. And yet this is a person that we are paying with our taxes. And that brings about the question whether or not we are having leaders occupying leadership positions in this country, or we are only have politicians whose best of skills may be managerial one. And so we take politicians who are managers to hold leadership positions, and they fail to appreciate what it means to be leaders, or what it means to be sector leaders. And that is why we are where we are as a country. Last week, I made mention of the fact that Greater Accra is speedily becoming a junk city. A city that's supposed to be the capital. It is speedily becoming a junk yard. We dump everything and anything, and yet we are supposed to have leaders, bylaws, and all that. Anyway, this evening's conversation is going to be assisted by a gentleman who is not a stranger to this platform when it comes to matters bordering on water, sanitation, and hygiene. He's an expert. And if we are looking for someone who can really let us appreciate the current state of situations bordering on this element that I have mentioned, you cannot do without him. And so we are privileged this evening to have with us Mr. Yao Ata-Ahin, who is the WASH technical specialist with World Vision Ghana. Mr. Ahin, welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Pleasure. Good to see you.
Yes, good to see you. I mean, it was this afternoon that I realized that we had this conversation. Last month was exactly 1 year when we had this conversation. How time flies, huh?
Yeah.
So last year, 2025, in the month of April, we had this conversation. Ghana's water, sanitation, and hygiene situation. And recalling, I remember asking you a question, which I'm going to repeat to have this conversation.
Sure.
And the question is very simple. What is Ghana's current state when we talk of water, sanitation, and hygiene?
All right, thank you very much. And
Right.
let me say good evening to our cherished viewers. When you talked about experts, I went to a church.
Right.
I was invited to give a talk on World Water Day. And the MC introducing me said, this guy I'm about to introduce, he understands so much about water that if you fetch water in a glass, he can tell you whether the water is coming from Tano or it's coming from Oti.
That's a solid expert.
So when I took the mic, I said, I issue a disclaimer.
Maybe I have
only God can tell whether this water is
It's
from
from
Tano or
Tano.
Oti. So that is how far people
maybe let me test. What is the brand of this water?
Oh, you mean the brand?
Yes.
As in X mineral.
So that shows that you're an expert.
Oh,
you see,
okay.
just looking at the water, you've been able to tell us. Anyway.
All right. So back to the question you
Right,
asked.
yes.
As a country, I think that if we compare ourselves to the sub-region, we will say that we've done quite well when it comes to access to or the delivery of safe drinking water.
Yeah.
Yes, because we are among one of the best in the sub-region in terms of the delivery of safe drinking water. In fact, the Ghana Statistical Service, if you remember, 2021,
Yes.
Population and Housing Census,
Yeah.
it says at 87.7, which is about almost 88%.
8%, yeah.
Yeah, of people having access to safe drinking water.
That's right.
And that is quite
Significant,
good.
yeah.
But of course, if you disaggregate this data, they say that the devil is in the details. You will find that Greater Accra, for example, will have about 97 point something
That's true.
access,
That's right.
whilst Northeast may be having a little below 50%.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of disparities when it comes to the access.
Yeah.
But of course, overall, we are doing quite well. We have issues with water quality, E. coli, arsenic, iron, what do you call it? Fluoride, among others. But overall, we are doing well.
Yeah.
When it comes to sanitation, unfortunately, the same cannot be said about it. And we are doing quite poorly.
Yeah.
To the extent that even open defecation, which you mentioned, we are currently at 17.7%.
Exactly. Almost 18. Yeah.
Almost
18%, yeah.
And 18% of our 33 million is huge.
Population, that's right.
It's huge.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, let me tell you that in 1990,
Yes.
the joint monitoring platform, which is conducted by UNICEF and WHO, put us at 22% open defecation rate.
Wow.
Today, we are 18%.
18%. 19 what?
90.
1990, 22%.
So
2026, we are at 18%.
Yes. So that is about 30 something years.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
About 36 years.
36 years. 36 years on.
Yes.
And if there has
We've
been any
improved,
improvement, it's just
very
about
minimal.
2%.
So you can imagine
That's amazing.
how long it can take us if we
Yeah.
go at the same pace, using the same strategies, how long it will take us to eliminate open defecation. And I say that ending open defecation should be one of the easiest to do.
Yeah.
If we have the will and we have the resources. As for resources, we should be able to have it.
That's right.
Because you see, can you imagine if the president tomorrow, and by the way, let me appreciate the president for the key performance indicators that he has given to the MMDCs.
Yeah.
I think that that is the way to go. And by doing that, you are giving them that consciousness about the need to promote sanitation in this country.
Yeah.
What needs to be done is to give them deadlines. So, for example, the president telling all his appointees that by 2027, end of 2027, end open defecation in your jurisdiction. Can you imagine the measures that all the appointees put in place to ensure that this is eliminated?
And that can be done easily.
That can easily be done.
Yeah.
Just give them a presidential fiat, a directive, and they will comply.
Yeah.
That is one easiest way to end open defecation. Apart from that, you talk about access to toilet facilities.
Exactly.
Access to toilet facilities is also problematic to the extent that almost 23% of the population are patronizing public toilets.
Yeah.
Because either they don't have access to a household toilet facility, or they are maybe travelers and all that. But many people don't have. In fact, only 25.3% of Ghana's population has access to an improved toilet facility. The rest don't have.
That's for exclusive use.
Exclusive use at the household. The rest,
that's 25.3%.
Yes. The rest, almost 50%, either they share or they practice open defecation. And it is a major, major issue. And this problem alone is causing a lot of diseases and deaths, especially among children.
That's right.
And it is something that can be eliminated. These preventable diseases are something that we can deal with. But we are not taking any action to ensure that we improve access to toilet facilities across. And even in our schools, 26% don't have access. 26% of public basic schools don't have access to a toilet facility. 25% don't have access to water on campus. And so it is problematic. And even hygiene facilities, many don't have. And so they will do everything, they won't wash their hands, and they will eat. So this is the stark reality.
Exactly.
Apart from that, when you come to healthcare facilities, it's almost the same. It's worse. People go to hospital, there's no water, they don't have access to a toilet facility. And these statistics I give you about schools, way back 2020, and nothing has
changed.
Nothing now you come to solid waste management, another messy area, problematic. In fact, Ghana's situation is quite unique in terms of sanitation. You go to any ministry, apart from the ministry, they have agencies, they have services, they have authorities and all that. You come to sanitation, the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. You know, sanitation is under
them, yes.
Apart from the ministry, there's not a single one agency implementing the policies on sanitation, not one.
So it means we don't give it so much attention. Nobody cares about it.
We have established the ministry.
The ministry,
but the ministry will not go down there.
We need an agency. Water has an agency.
Go to Ministry of Health.
Yes.
That's my favorite ministry. Structures are in place. Ministry of Health is there.
Yes.
Apart from that, you have the Ghana Health Service.
That's right.
You have Ambulance Authority. You have Blood Authority. You have HEFRA. That's the Health Infrastructure, whatever.
Yes.
They have National Health Insurance Authority. Everything is there. And so things are organized. You come to our ministry and there's no agency implementing sanitation programs. Can you imagine?
We just don't give it attention.
No attention at all.
No one
it's
cares.
As if it's not a priority.
That's right.
Until recently, when the president started talking about improved sanitation and charging his appointees to ensure that sanitation becomes a priority for them. And even that, I mean, after that, what has happened?
Yeah.
So we expect that having issued that directive to the MMDs or MMDCs, the ministry will take it up, develop possibly some guidelines for all the MMDCs or MMDs.
Yeah.
So that if you want to improve sanitation in your jurisdiction, if it is open defecation, and then it is how you go about it.
Yeah.
If it's about increasing access to household toilets, go about it this way. If it's about increasing access to school wash, this way. So that they have, because the MMDCs are not wash experts. They may not know. So if we don't support them, they may not be able to succeed. And how many of them can we support individually? I work with an organization, World Vision Ghana.
Yes, right.
Wherever we are trying to support them. We are trying to give them capacity, resources, and all that. But how many districts are we working in?
Yeah.
We are not even in 50 districts. And so we need to urgently do something. And I think that as a country, we need to reawaken the country's sanitation conscience. It's asleep. I won't say it's dead. Our conscience as a people when it comes to sanitation is dead. And we need to rise up. And there's a lot we can do. Over the years, since 2017, we have been proposing what we call the National Sanitation Authority, which authority we believe will sanitize that space, will ensure the standardization, regulation, enforcement of regulations and all that.
That's right.
They will research, they will do resource mobilization, so that the sector will be properly managed.
That's right.
Up to now, we don't have that authority. Since we mooted the idea of having that National Sanitation Authority, 2017, I can bet you that the Ministry of Health has had about 3 or 4 authorities established. And we haven't been able to establish one.
Interestingly,
to regulate sanitation.
Interestingly, this authority you are proposing, even if I don't recall, I remember very well that last year, when the now minister was being vetted, he made mention of that.
Honorable
Ahmed Ibrahim. He made mention of that.
Yes.
So the challenge is, I mean, what is really the challenge? Is it the will to do it? Or, as I indicated earlier, we end up having people at leadership positions, but they are not able to really operate as leaders?
I think the will may be there. And if you ask me, I know Ahmed very well.
That's right.
He has the will. And he wants to push. But I think the most important challenge has to do with getting acceptance, getting approval. Because there are a lot more people who say, oh, we have too many authorities, we have too many agencies. You have too many agencies where?
That's the point.
Where we are talking about,
that's
we
the
have
point.
Too many agencies
there.
We don't have one. And yet we say, oh, we have too many. The district assemblies are there. They can implement. But the district assemblies, don't forget, are there for Ministry of Health.
They are there for all the ministries. All the ministries,
So why is it that other ministries can have such agencies to effectively sanitize their space, and then sanitation cannot have? What is it about sanitation that, I mean, becomes so much of a disdain that nobody prioritizes? That we think that, oh, it's okay, sanitation can take care of itself
on its own.
It doesn't work that way. But let me tell you, something as important as sanitation and water, that affects every sector of the Ghanaian economy. Tell me which sector is not affected by water and sanitation. You can't have one. And yet that is the most disadvantaged. That is the most forsaken.
I was just talking about which sector it doesn't affect. I was just trying to get, but I'll get a figure soon. Where World Health Organization mentioned the amount of money that Ghana loses as a result of poor sanitation.
Ghana loses as much as $290 million as a result of poor sanitation alone.
$290 million
annually.
every year as a result of poor sanitation.
Plus $79 million every year as a result of open defecation. Put them together. About 360, right?
And it goes, yes, and it goes every year.
Every year. Because you see,
$369 million, not even Ghana cedis. Dollars. Every year to open defecation and sanitation. Yes, World Bank. And defecation and then sanitation.
Every aspect of sanitation. So it's about 369, right?
Yeah, $369 million. You can convert it into Ghana cedis. Even if you are using a rate of 11 to $1, you can just imagine. Even at 10, you can imagine what it can do.
So it's mind-boggling.
But you see, we know all these things. We know all these things. We even have bylaws.
Yes.
We have, yes, we talked about the municipal, we talk about the district assemblies. We are supposed to have, they are there for everyone. So it will be good if we have an authority that will, implement all these wonderful things. In the absence of that, we also have bylaws that the municipal and the districts are supposed to implement.
Every one of them have their bylaws.
So why is it that these bylaws are not being implemented or enforced?
I think your guess is as good as mine. You know how we implement things. Our problem as a country is not about the development of policies.
That's right. Or laws.
Or laws. Our problem is about
just implementation.
So you can find the most beautiful policies, strategies, plans, programs, laws in our shelves. Beautiful. And yet other countries can come on a steady tour.
Exactly.
And take them.
I was going to say that. You go to other countries, they modify it just a little and they are flying with it.
Implementing. So many countries have overtaken us.
Yeah.
Since we developed what we call the Rural Sanitation Model and Strategy. Brilliant document. Which is supposed to handle open defecation. And they have taken it up and they are doing well. And we are still where we are. No agency, no prioritization, no financing, no behavior change, strategies and all that. And if you don't invest in this, sanitation is a public good.
Exactly.
It affects everybody. Whether you contribute to it or not, it will affect you.
Exactly.
And so there are people who have not contributed anything negatively to the poor sanitation situation we have. And yet they are affected.
That's right.
Look at the children.
Exactly.
They are suffering, bearing the brunt of it.
And talking of children, that was the next area I wanted us to look at. You mentioned the figures, but I want us to zoom a bit more on our children. And this evening, as I indicated, we are giving a particular attention to sanitation. Last year, if you followed very well, you realized that we spoke a bit more on water and hygiene. Today, I want us to look at the sanitation because it is really scary, the sanitation issue. It is really scary. This one says that, according to the Ministry of Education, 25% of public basic schools in Ghana lack access to safe water that we've talked about. We won't dwell on it because it is water. This is the part I'm interested in. 26%, and you mentioned that earlier, 26% of public basic schools have no toilet facilities. 26% of public basic schools that we have in this country, they do not have toilet facilities.
And do you know the number of public basic schools we have in the country?
Tell me. If you look at it here, it says that more than 1,500,000 children in public schools are affected.
Good.
314,000 in private basic schools are affected by the lack of decent toilets in school.
Sure.
So look at the number, 1,500,000, and it says more than that.
Yeah. Because there are even schools with what you can call a toilet facility.
Yeah. It is not even usable. Perfect. Yes.
And this is coming from Ministry of Education.
Exactly.
The Education Management Information System, EMIS, 2020.
But
their own data.
Mr. Ayin, who is in charge of building public schools?
My understanding is that it is the metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies. That is their responsibility.
And they are able to build. They are able to build infrastructure without toilet facilities.
They do. Oh, there are a number of them. In fact, there were Get Fund projects that we inspected way back. They didn't have toilet facilities, so they could build a school and not think about a toilet facility.
Oh, what a country!
In the school, can you imagine?
What a country!
I want to believe that it's not happening now.
Well, that's the hope. We want to hope it.
Yes, it's a hope. Because you see, sanitation is the last thing people think about when they are even building. Can you imagine your child going to school and there's no toilet in that school?
Yeah. How?
And if the school is not closer to your home,
and what happens?
To respond to nature's call, they have to practice open defecation or maybe attend a public toilet.
So at that tender age, you are introducing them to public defecation.
Yes.
And as you mentioned earlier, because of the facility, they may not even have proper hygienic environment, so they will not be able to wash their hands. If they wash their hands, they will not even be able to wash it with soap.
Oh yes.
And they go back and they use their hand to eat and do other things.
Do everything. The interesting thing is that it doesn't take much to get every public basic school a toilet facility. The computations have been done by 2 professors from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. And when you look at the figures, it's nothing much. It's nothing much compared to all the monies we are spending in the various sectors.
Yeah.
And yet we still haven't been able to address this situation. And it's affecting the education of our children. It's affecting their health. It's affecting the teachers. But if you are a teacher in that school and you also have to attend to nature's call, you are losing hours, teaching hours. You have to go and find one public toilet. You have to go and queue.
That's right.
Can you imagine if the children come and find you?
Exactly. The embarrassment alone. How do you even feel? It's gone.
And so it's a major thing that we need to avert our minds to.
No, but you see, it is worrying that you have a country where over 1 million of your future leaders.
And now it will be more than that.
Now it will be more than that. Yes, this was 2020.
Yeah.
And clearly there hasn't been any improvement.
No,
so if anything at all, it will be worse than this. So let's even say that this is 2020, we're saying more than 1,500,000.
It's still 1,500,000.
That is even scary. And these are our youth. These are the young generation. These are the people who are going to lead us. They are going to take the next step. They are going to be in charge. So if we expose them to open defecation, by the time they get to adulthood, they see it as a normal thing.
They have no choice. I mean, even if it's water, when your child is going to school, you can fetch water in
exactly.
bottle for
and
them
then give. Yes.
What about a toilet facility? You can't send your toilet to school. And so it's something that the Ministry of Education, Ghana Education Service, Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Ministry of Works, Housing and Water Resources, Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, Ministry of Finance.
Yes.
And I keep saying that is one
very
ministry
important
that must rise up.
That's the Finance Ministry.
Finance Ministry. You know how much we are losing as a country.
Exactly. Look at the amount. We're talking about plus
79
369.
I'll ask myself, what can I do to stop losing all
$369 million? We lose it every year. So as you are saying, instead of preventing it,
that's the word. We don't pay attention to the preventive measures, but we just want it to happen, and then we spend millions on health.
You see why I keep saying that in Ghana, our leaders or people who are managing us, they are always being reactive instead of being proactive. So they wait for the thing to happen, then they come and resolve it, and they go and see with a lot of money.
Do you know how much you have to spend to end open defecation? How much? Very little. Just give a directive. Let MMDAs, now they have a lot of resources.
Exactly.
My understanding is that a lot more is going to them now.
Exactly. Directly.
Let them use part of it to end it.
Make it a priority.
Once they end it, diseases are no more dead, children are healthy, productivity goes high, household income increases. The EU has said, you go to their office, you will find this there. They say, no strategy for poverty reduction can ignore people's vital requirements for safe drinking water, and improve sanitation, obviously.
Look at that.
No strategy. And yet, in our books, we have very brilliant strategies.
That is Ghana.
Them.
No, that is Ghana. We have very great experts. We have great, it's just like a friend telling me some time ago. He was literally lamenting. He works with this NGO. I won't mention it, a foreign NGO. And he was telling me of how the NGO is into research. And they use the brains, Ghanaian brains, to do this research. And then they use the information, they take it back to their home countries, and they use it there, they develop it there. So in other words, we have the experts in this country.
Oh, we do.
We have the brains in this country.
We do. Go attend any international conference.
Yeah.
And you'll find that you are an expert.
Exactly. That's very true.
There are many people,
who don't even know half of the things we know.
Nothing. And yet, with all the brains, we are unable to proceed with implementation of our policies, plans, programs, strategies, which takes a lot of money to develop.
That's right.
And they are fantastic. They are brilliant.
That's right.
You take our environmental sanitation policy 2010, which is being revised. I can tell you that there's no strategy, there's no policy in the world that is better than that.
That's right.
Nowhere. And yet we will implement it. We implement it. And the excuses about resources and all that.
And anyone or anytime you hear any leader or anyone who is supposed to be a leader, public leader, giving you the excuse of finances or money, that alone should tell you that the person is not competent. Because money and resources shouldn't be the number one hindrance.
They shouldn't at all.
It shouldn't be at all. That is the whole thing. And a practical example is what you just said. If we have $369 million, we are losing it every year. And we are not putting structures in place to prevent this loss. And the same leaders come to you and tell you that we don't have money.
Can you imagine that every year there's a cholera outbreak? Yes. Every year. Cholera outbreak is there. Last year we went to Adan. Oh my God.
It was bad.
Bad. Open defecation is, I think, the highest in this country.
Wow.
Almost the highest. The 5 northern regions, the lowest open defecation rate is 50%. The lowest.
50%.
So in other words, 50% of the population.
50%.
That is the lowest.
Half of the population.
That's the lowest. In fact, in Upper East, the figure is 68.5% open defecation.
68.
Rate. 68.5. Savannah is 68.4. So if you take every 100 people, 68 of them are practicing open defecation.
And mind you, the remaining 40-something or 32%, if they are not practicing open defecation, the question will be, wherever they are assessing, how good is that place?
How good can that place be?
That's the point.
And sometimes I ask myself, okay, so does the finance minister, for example, connect this bad situation, this sanitation situation, to resource mobilization?
That's right.
To the extent that it even affects tourism. I mean, which tourists want to come to a country where open defecation is this high?
It's happening,
where cholera is that high?
It's there.
Where our beaches are not clean?
Exactly.
Can you imagine?
That's right.
No tourists
so
want
you
to
see how
visit. It's affecting
how this is affecting everything.
Take education, it's affecting it.
Exactly.
Take health,
it's affecting it.
Tourism,
it's affecting it.
Manufacturing, everywhere.
It's affecting everywhere. Just this issue of sanitation.
Yes. And yet it is easy to address. And once it is addressed, the multiplier effects are massive.
Massive, We will look at the addressing parts, but I am interested in our future leaders. I don't see why we should have more than 1,500,000 Ghanaians.
I mean, nobody understands this. I mean, it's not difficult to find. Go to public school.
Oh, yes, in Accra. Even in Accra.
Yeah, they don't have. Many don't have.
Look, even in Osu here, where the heart of the capital, you will find it here. I know of some public schools in Osu here.
So it's a major, and interestingly, I mean, how many times have you heard any minister talking about the lack of access to toilet facilities in schools.
No.
We rather want to talk about the textbooks. We want to talk about
computer,
the computer
and all those things.
Child,
Yes, one computer, laptop. That's what they talk about.
That is all that makes up the school environment. They don't think that water, sanitation, and hygiene
that is the foundation. It's the foundation
of the school environment, which creates the conducive environment for teaching and learning.
That's right.
They don't pay attention to these things. But can the school just be the infrastructure?
No.
The teachers?
No.
The classrooms? No. The textbooks? The laptops? No.
But in fact, it is a shame to have a municipal chief or a district chief officer in any jurisdiction, whether district or municipal, where we will count public structures or public schools that do not have toilets. In fact, that should be a foundation for dismissing
you'll be shocked.
Such.
And the difficulty is that, so if I'm a district chief executive,
yes,
in one of those districts, you think I will have that capacity to be able to build? That is also one thing. So if you give the responsibility to them,
right, and
they don't have the wherewithal,
they
don't have what it takes to build infrastructure for the schools. How many assemblies, maybe until recently, had the resources to be able to build infrastructure? And even now, how many of them can build? And those who can build, they won't build. Because their priority is somewhere else. They have places that they spend their money.
They spend their money, and they've been told to spend their money there. So money goes to the district, and everyone is concentrating on big push. Everyone is concentrating on roads. Everyone is concentrating on, okay, we are building structures to end the shift system.
Yes.
Without
health facilities,
markets. And that markets.
And even the market, I hope they have toilet facilities.
I hope so too. With this 24-hour market that they are talking about.
Toilet facilities. You see, and I think we need a big push in sanitation as well.
Very important. In fact, that should be the priority.
And
that should be the priority.
Yes.
There's one thing that World Vision has been doing, and it is so dear to my heart since I was exposed to it. And I wish that this would have been a governmental thing and not a private entity, not an NGO doing it. Even if it is an NGO doing it, government should have been the backbone.
Perfect.
And that has to do with what you christen as sanitation diplomats.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because you see, and the reason why it is dear to my heart is because you are focusing on the future leaders, the children.
Yes.
If we have over 1 million of our children, our student population, people's population, engaging in defecation, open defecation, then it is important that we find a way of orienting them. Clearly, from all indication, it looks like the government over the past years do not see sanitation as an issue. We've established that. And so as individuals, as private entities, we must find a way. Probably when we lead, we show what leadership is about, politicians will learn from it.
I agree.
What is this sanitation diplomat?
I agree with you perfectly. And that is the way to go.
That's right.
Because for the adults, maybe you may say that it will be difficult to change their behaviors.
Exactly.
Over a relatively short period. But
that's right.
For the children, I mean, once you are able to catch them young, I mean, they will live with it and they will practice.
And most of them will end up becoming the presidents, the ministers, and the rest. They've already been oriented on it, you know.
So what we realized was that these children were left out in finding any solution to improve sanitation. And yet they are one of the largest constituents.
That's right.
And therefore we said, how do we address this missing link? So we came up with this School Sanitation Solutions Challenge, through which we seek to encourage children to cultivate keen interest in environmental sanitation.
Okay.
Sensitize their peers, build capacity to be able to co-create sustainable solutions, and also be empowered to, on their own, advocate improved sanitation in the country. So whoever wins that contest, that challenge, now becomes the child sanitation diplomat.
So it's more of an essay writing, or how is it?
It's a challenge. It begins with an essay. So, for example, write an open letter to the President of the Republic of Ghana, telling him about the poor sanitation situation in the country and proposing ways by which this situation can be addressed.
Sure.
You write that essay first. Across the country, everybody has the opportunity from class 6 to JHS 2.
Okay.
JHS 3, because they will be writing exams, we excluded them.
Yeah.
After that, there is a panel of experts. In fact, there is a markers. We have markers who will mark the scripts professionally, select the best from each zone. And we have 4 zones. We have the Share Zone, 5 northern regions.
Okay.
We have the Cocoa Zone, Hafo, Bono East, Ashanti Eastern. And then we have the Coconut Zone, as in Central, Western,
That's right.
And then we have the Tilapia Zone, Greater Accra, Oti, and Volta. These are the zones. So they select the best from these zones. And then we go into what we call the Masters Encounter, where the panel of experts will be interrogating them.
Okay.
About the scripts that they wrote,
right.
and asking them a few questions about sanitation. Those who qualify will now go into the the Battle of Champions.
Okay.
Which is the grand finale, which is usually held at the National Theatre as part of the Children's Sanitation Festival.
Okay.
Where the children perform songs, dance, choreography.
And these are all led by World Vision.
Yes, this is led by World Vision. But we have partners.
Right.
We have the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. We have the Gamma Sanitation and Water Project, which is now in limbo.
Okay.
And then we have the Kings of Media. And then we have Zoom Lion Foundation. And then we have Ghana Education Service.
Okay.
So these are the partners. But we often get some support from other stakeholders, corporate Ghana and all that. And this has been very, very well received by the children. To the extent that sometimes when I look at where a script is coming from, it tells me that that is good enough. Every corner of this country, children write. And the things they are able to write, they may be raw. I can imagine, But if you, raw and virgin, but if you implement them, it can go a long way. One child last year proposed that for, like I've been saying, every minister in charge of a sector or MMDC who is not able to end open defecation within a certain time frame should be sacked.
And I agree 100%. Sacked,
but asked to refund whatever they have spent. It
really?
Extreme, but you see,
this came from a kid.
A child. These are the things they are talking about. It means that they are aware of the situation.
Yeah.
And they know what exactly has to be done, which we are not doing.
Yeah.
And so I think we are failing the next generation. We are failing them. And we need to rise up. We are awakening our sanitation conscience. We are awakening it, put in place measures, and we can, over a very short period, address the situation.
But since you started this sanitation diplomats, how many years has it been now?
So we have the 6 child sanitation diplomats now.
So for the past 6 years.
Yeah, 6 years.
Is there anything, any tools you can use to measure the success of it? Has it been able to help improve sanitation in this country? If not in this country, even among the children, has there been any metric?
I think it has. I mean, even judging by where we receive the scripts alone, tells me that now
the awareness,
children are aware.
Exactly.
That awareness,
so that awareness is
and
enough,
everybody wants to write and become a sanitation diplomat. You are aware that the 3rd child sanitation diplomat was sent to the Netherlands, The Hague, for the All Systems Connect Global Symposium, and she was given the platform, giving the platform to address world leaders, over 700 world leaders, including prime ministers and all diplomats. And she delivered. And so it has gone far. Now Ghanaian children are aware. What we need to do is to do a formal study as to the gaps, what can be done going forward and all that, and how to bring in every child everywhere to be part of it. But by the way, I'm happy to inform you that the current child sanitation diplomat, as part of his project, is galvanizing Ghanaian children to develop what they call the Children Sanitation Manifesto.
Beautiful. That's a great one. That's a
which
great
doesn't
one.
only make demands, but also makes commitments as to how they can contribute.
Exactly.
And for me, that is good enough.
And I think that with that one, the kids can hold the leaders accountable.
Oh, yes.
They can present it to the various political parties and say that, look,
Engage
when
them
you
on
become
what to
president or you form the next government, this is our manifesto.
The
And these are the
blueprint
things we
for
want you to consider.
Exactly, and implement.
Yeah. And I think that would be a great one.
Yes, yes, yes.
I think that would be a great. What is the current diplomat's name?
So the current diplomat is Kuntana Song.
Oh,
Atados.
Sounds like he's from the northern.
Kuntana. He's from Upper West, but he stayed almost all his life in Accra. So he attends the
That's fine.
Accra College of Education Demonstration School.
Yeah.
He just completed BC.
There's one message that just came in, and I think it's from a parent talking about she never hearing of how do you call it, the diplomats, sanitation diplomats, and is wondering how her child can participate in it.
Okay, so from next month we will launch the School Sanitation Solutions Challenge.
Okay.
And then we will advertise maybe the essay topic. This year we don't want to make it too long, because the experience is that there are many people who write for students and their awards and all that. So we are coming up with a strategy. We may announce when they will write, but we may not advertise the topic. So when the day comes, everybody will write without maybe knowing the exact topic or question.
The advert, is it done in the dailies, or it is done with the various schools
the junior
directly?
Graphic,
okay.
And then all the SHEP coordinators, and they've been very helpful, from the school-based SHEP coordinators to district SHEP coordinators, regional SHEP coordinators, and the national SHEP unit. They support us to get the adverts to every school in the country, both public and private.
Schools.
And the Ghana National Association of Private Schools have also been helpful. So that is how we get the adverts out there. And they write, they submit the scripts, markers are organized to mark them, and then the processes continue.
Mr. Ayin, let me go through one or two messages that have come, and if you want to use the opportunity to take some water. But I'll come back to you for us to look at some practical solutions that we can have. This one says that, I am Jones Manso Tonto Krum. Mr. Wilson, tell the president that Ghanaians are watching him and his party NDC to see how he deal with the MPP. Okay, you're talking about prosecution. You didn't. Okay, that's fine. Musa from Koforidia, Sentimental. Good evening, Mr. Wilson and your panelists. In fact, very, very interesting and informative discussion on sanitation. My worry is why is it that sanitation workers in our assembly are being paid less? Those who sacrifice themselves working in our assemblies are always complaining. And this is coming from Musa. Good evening, Mr. Wilson, and good evening to your listeners. Ghana can only and will only be successful in handling sanitation situation if we stop politicizing sanitation issues and support sanitation officers and post all graduates to be able to combat the sanitation issues. Yes, but I'm wondering if there's a model under National Service Secretariat or National Service on sanitation.
Not too aware.
Yeah.
Except the models that Zoom Lion was rolling out. And by the way, those models were very useful, very important.
Right.
You see, we say we are decentralizing sanitation.
Yeah.
We are sending them to the assemblies. The challenge is that many of them don't have the capacity. Many of them don't have the equipment. And so how do you expect them to be able to deliver? And our environmental sanitation policy makes it clear that it should be at least 80% private sector led.
Sure.
So I think that we need to build the capacity of our private sector operators, our environmental service providers, resource them to be able to support the assemblies to deliver. And I think we need to really, really think about this, because it appears to me that the environmental service providers, the sanitation service providers we have in the country are not receiving the necessary support to be able to get us to the destination that we want. Zoomlion, for example, has been able to build a number of waste treatment facilities. Now, it is not profitable to just go and throw waste at the dumping site.
Yeah.
No. In fact, there is a saying that it is a waste to waste. It's a waste to waste.
Yeah.
Waste is now a resource.
Exactly.
And these treatment facilities should be supported to be able to treat the waste that we throw around. That is the best way to go. And so I think government should come to that realization and support these waste treatment facilities, support these environmental service providers so they can make our cities clean.
Honestly, Mr. Ayin, talking about this right now, one thing that came into my mind is, and again, I will blame it on the fact that we lack leaders holding, leadership positions. This is an avenue one to create employment.
It's a huge.
So if we are here talking about youth unemployment,
it's a huge industry.
Why can't we think outside the box? Municipal assembly, DCs, charging them. Look, let us employ most of our youth in our districts to be in charge of this.
Multi-million dollar industry, waste management across the country, from collection to containment to disposal to treatment. And can you imagine even the products that can be made
out of it?
Go to Zoomlion has one subsidiary called UPPR.
Okay.
So they produce so many plastics. Plastic chairs, plastic tables, and all that. It's a lucrative venture. And so why we have failed to invest in that sector to create employment?
Yeah, employment. And we can generate revenue from it ourselves. You wouldn't even need a central government sending money in there.
Not at all.
You can generate money from it.
Not
internally generated fund. You can generate.
Oh, yes. And it's an area all MMDAs should be looking
exactly.
at.
So what happens? What is it with the MCs, the DCs that they can't think outside the box and say that look, we want to create employment for our district and we are going to do that through sanitation?
And by the way, there are medium-term development plans.
Yeah.
Do they capture some of these?
That's the problem. You know,
the usual things. Always the how do you call it? The business as usual.
We are only managing instead of leading, and that is the problem.
That's not how we can transform this country.
I took time over the weekend to go through the website, and anyone can do that. The website of the National Development Planning Commission, NDPC. Yeah. And I was trying to find out Ghana's vision, and it was difficult to find on their website. The only document I got, they christened it a midterm. Is it midterm? Yeah, midterm vision, and it is all about what is the NDC's agenda that they call reset agenda. It is all about reset agenda.
But what goes into the reset? We need a reset in the sanitation
industry,
so that we can through that create several jobs.
But you see, the point I was even making is that if you have a country that cannot even give you a clear vision and say that 10 years, 20 years, this is where we are going.
And this is what needs to be done
by every sector, sanitation, this is what needs to be done. So that when you call even my child on the streets, who may be 2 years, in class 1, class 2, whatever. When you ask the child, what is the vision of Ghana? He or she should be able to tell you that in the next 20 years, this is where we are going as a country.
What is the vision for sanitation?
For sanitation in the country.
So that wherever you are, you know that this is what we are implementing.
Exactly.
We are working towards. That assembly has that.
That's the point.
Do they have it?
That's the point. Ask how many municipal executives, chief executives, district chief executives even know of a Ghana's clear vision when it comes to sanitation.
No, I'm not sure they know.
So the point is whether or not we even have.
Meanwhile, we have it. The policy will have it.
So if the policy have it,
but
why are we not bringing it down? Exactly.
A certain disconnect between the policy at the national level and what has to be implemented at the local level. That disconnect must be bridged. I think that all of us as sector players need to come together, work with the ministry.
That's right.
To ensure that this is done.
Yeah.
Bring all the MMDCs, MMDAs together. Let's go through the environmental sanitation policy. Let them understand.
Let them understand. Let them be oriented to do it.
How to improve.
Look, I'm saying that Ghana doesn't have a problem. In fact, when it comes to unemployment, we don't have a problem. It's just that we are not able to think outside the box. Sanitation alone, overnight, can consume more than half of the so-called unemployed youth that we have in this country.
It's a huge industry. Huge.
It can.
It's a huge industry.
Well, let me go.
It's an area. I believe the finance minister will be listening.
He will.
The trade minister.
Yes.
There's an industry-specific issue we are talking about.
And they should be able to do this so easily. They should be able to do this. This one says that, okay, so good evening, Mr. Wilson. Good evening to Mr. Ahin. I am Pitani Norte Loku from Osu. I learned sanitation in primary school years ago, which teaches us to keep healthy. If a country like Ghana, which teaches us to keep healthy. If a country like Ghana is having difficulties in providing water sanitation problems, then we are failing as a country. Why? Okay. This one says sanitation issues are all over hospitals and communities. And this is from Manasseh. Yes, just like Mr. Ahin said, it cuts across everywhere, the health sector and all that. This is not the case in our schools, but our social places, our stadiums, our markets, our lorry stations, hospitals, and public toilets are all not kept well. You can't patronize them. They are dead traps that are going to kill people. Let us see Osu Market toilet facilities, for example. This is a danger. And it is true. Well,
interestingly, I've seen people going to those public toilets and they have to remove their shirts.
Yes.
Hang it somewhere,
I was just going to say
and
that.
Then you enter and come and otherwise, understand by the time you come back,
I was the smell. I was just going to say that the Osu, and unfortunately, Osu Market, as we call the ninth market, is one of the most known markets in Accra.
Look, the policy and that allows us to build markets around these areas. Can you imagine inviting private sector to invest? Would they not come?
What exactly? It will be so easy
with the right environment.
Yeah,
the enabling environment for them, because they know they will recoup their investment.
The investment they will take it. This one says, "Good evening, Mr. Wilson. I'm really enjoying your discussion, but the government have forgotten sanitation officers." Environmental health officers.
Environmental health officers are really suffering.
They are suffering, eh?
Look, they are one of the can I say they are one of the most pitiful people.
Oh my goodness, really?
Some of them don't even have offices.
They just go in there and that's what they are hanging in.
They don't have even a motorbike.
So how do they do their work?
They get a motorbike from, for example, a development partner.
Yes.
They don't have fuel to even move around. And yet they are one of the most important people if sanitation will improve in any jurisdiction.
That's right.
They go around, they find people, they inspect, they do education. They don't have anything.
That's sad. Does corporal punishment still exist? If the answer is no, then the director of education in the Chima Inkwahuma constituency must be sacked. Yes, Achuma Kwahuma. That's right. Achuma Kwahuma constituency must be sacked immediately. Okay, you didn't tell us why. Mr. Wilson, our tourism industry is not left out in this trying times. Lack of water and sanitation facilities recently. We went to a Bree Gardens and there was no proper toilets. We urinated everywhere. How will we solve this problem? Look, this I can attest to it.
This is a very, very shameful.
A Bree Gardens.
Where many people
I was there, I think 3 weeks or so ago. And the place was heavily loaded with people.
Yeah.
A lot of people. It was such a beautiful place. Yeah. And we needed to use the washroom. Senior, if you go to that washroom,
Yeah. You can't use it.
oh my goodness.
I went to a district assembly and I asked them for the urinal. I wanted to urinate.
Yes.
They showed me a place. My brother, I took pictures when I entered.
Yeah.
So dirty with plastic containers scattered everywhere. And so dirty. I took pictures, and when I came back to the program, I told them, I didn't hide it. I told them that if you could take me to this washroom, I don't want to repeat what I told them.
That's a problem.
Yes.
Ghana is 69 years old, and still we cannot solve our water and sanitation problems. I can't think far. I can't think madness. Okay, you didn't add your name. Good evening, Mr. Watson. My name is Okan Richard from Inchi. We are pleading with the government to open the portal for teachers again. Otherwise, okay, that's fine. Mr. Watson, my name is Musa Kofredia Sentimental. I have come again. The MDCs employ many workers, but due to poor salary, many stop working. Yes, but that is true. You see, due to poor salary, and that's why I'm saying that sanitation is a platform where MMDCs can have what we call internally generated funds. You see, we don't have any excuse, honestly speaking. We have no excuse. This Jamestown, Choco, and the slum areas have businessmen making a lot of money from toilets. They have a lot of money, even though some do on the shores, as in open defecation. Okay, I'll see if I can come back to the messages, but there are a lot of but Mr. Ahin, that is the reality.
That's the reality.
That's the problem we have.
And everywhere you go, you see it. My phone is full of pictures.
Yeah.
You know, because of the work we do. Wherever I go and I see something which is an eyesore, I take pictures of it. And sometimes places where you don't expect to see these things, you see them.
Go to Ifwa Sutherland Park, as we call the children's park.
Yes.
Go and see. It's an eyesore.
Such a brilliant place.
I have been to one ministry that I couldn't use their washroom.
No, you can't.
Ministry.
And even if you are lucky, the key will be there. Sometimes the key is with somebody.
Yes.
You have to go and
Actually, someone went for the key for me. I went to open the place. I wanted to urinate. I couldn't use the place. Ministry.
Yes, ministry. Many ministries. Many ministries are having challenges.
There's a lot to be done in this country.
It's a problem that we really need.
Some practical solutions. I am interested so much in the sanitation diplomat. We've talked a bit about it. Yeah. But what other solutions do you think we can engage in?
We have provided these solutions
so many times
again, such that sometimes it appears repetitive.
Yeah.
But by the way, somebody said repetition is the reason why reggae is called music. And so I'll repeat. So, for example,
that's interesting.
That which you prioritize.
Yes.
You know, you tend to invest, and you tend to pay attention to it.
Yeah.
So today, if I ask you what is government's topmost priority, what will you say? Or flagship program that government doesn't joke with?
Well, I say it is the big push because that's where they make a lot of nice bags.
You talk about big push.
Yeah.
Is it not a priority?
That's right.
The president has made it a priority.
That's right.
And who else will not make it a priority? So if the president makes sanitation a priority, who will say it's not my priority?
And in fact, that not to catch you, that's the reason why with this big push, almost every day you see the Minister of Roads on the field. Every day, yes, he's on exactly.
He's working.
Because the president says that is his priority.
And he talks tough.
Exactly.
When he goes anywhere and he's not satisfied with the progress of work.
Because he knows that his work is at stake.
The president is
watching. That's right.
Because it is a priority, what happens? They have invested heavily. Exactly. I think that is one area that has received the highest investment.
Yeah.
So prioritization, investment.
Yeah.
And then because of that, they enforce the standards.
The standards, yeah.
We need to ensure that you talked about bylaws.
Exactly.
Policies.
That is very, very important. The bylaws.
We don't enforce them.
Because before you build, you have to go and take permits from the assembly.
Oh, yes.
And one of the bylaws is that before the assembly approves,
beautifully written,
you must have all these amenities.
They will tell you this is on paper. They will tell you.
So
this is
how
on
do they
paper. I will
approve
build the way I
structures
want it.
without distance?
They will approve it for you. At the assembly level, they will approve it for you. Apart from this, we also need a certain consistent, comprehensive behavior change communication strategy.
Right.
I remember, those days you had this advert. Babodam.
Yes, yeah. And Abedjunso, yes. Aliu Mohammed sponsored by. We still have it. We still joke with it.
Can you imagine that we can have something like that?
That's right.
And every day it's played everywhere, in churches, at the market, at the lorry park, in our schools. Don't you think it will make an impact?
I know the beautiful thing about that event, which I recall, is the fact that you will
somebody
see
who is mad.
Exactly. That's the beautiful part of it.
Yes.
Somebody who is mad telling somebody who is not mad that is supposed to be sane. That is this where the best place to urinate.
Yes. And he, the madman, is not
urinating there. And he's rather telling you.
In this country, people stand everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
And it appears it's okay. I don't know what it's about us that we accept everything to be normal.
It's because we have
these are
a
the
mediocratic mind.
The solutions.
I agree.
Prioritize it, invest in it, enforce the laws, ensure there is a comprehensive behavior change communication strategy, get the children involved at the early stage, and when they grow up, they will be used to it, they will practice good sanitation. And then overall, let the president issue a presidential fiat, own sanitation, make it his flagship program,
own it, very
and
important.
give a directive to all appointees to end the poor sanitation situation by a certain deadline.
If for nothing at all,
we will get somewhere.
We will end up saving $369 million each year. We will end up saving this.
And the deaths will reduce, the diseases that take people to hospital.
It will improve
the OPD cases, the drugs we buy, the ambulances. We are spending so much
unnecessarily. We are always having a reactive approach.
Let's pay attention to the preventive aspects.
That is it.
Of healthcare.
That's right.
And you will see how much we will save. You will see how healthy Ghanaians will become, how productivity will increase, how household income will increase, and how people will live lives.
That's right.
With fullness of life.
That's right. So this coming Wednesday, the 13th of May 2026.
Yes.
At 9:30 a.m., we are going to have the 6th Child Sanitation Diplomats official launch of campaign for improved sanitation in Ghana and a national wash in schools policy dialogue. This is a call by to all of us who sees the importance, per the conversations we've had today, sees the importance of all putting our hand on deck as far as sanitation is concerned, is invited to this program. Please come and let us ensure that if we can't take care of what is already existing, we can prevent it from happening by encouraging our younger ones. As I indicated, the time is 9:30 a.m. this Wednesday, 13th of May 2026, at Best Western Premier Hotel in Accra. And I believe you know the place. Just Google it and you will get it. If you are struggling to get it, as always, when you send an inquiry through the WhatsApp line, we'll give you the details for you to be part of it. The other thing which next month into it, I'll be giving more attention to, has to do with a program that is going to be done on Wednesday, the 1st of July, 2026. But not to confuse you, when we are getting closer to it, I'll be talking more about it. But today, let's focus on this one.
Just a word about it.
About this one, that's fine. You can do that.
You see, KJTR versus Makola.
Yes.
Has become one of the biggest platforms. In fact, every week, 800 views on GH1.
Yeah.
And every week, you have over 2 million views on digital platforms. That is how wide that program goes. And so we are trying to partner them to host a series of sanitation episodes on KJTR versus Makola.
Right.
The first one, we have titled The Republic versus the Silent Pandemic.
Okay.
Reawakening the nation's sanitation conscience. And it's going to be massive.
I can imagine.
And we want to get everybody from the presidency to wherever to get to the National Theatre on that day. And then we will reawaken our sanitation conscience. We also want to take this opportunity to invite private sector and corporate Ghana and any organization or institution that is willing to support this.
That's right.
So that we can place sanitation on the front burner.
We need to do that. We need to do that.
Discuss.
From all indication, governments, successive governments, seems not to be having sanitation as a priority. And I want to say that they have failed us. But it is you and I who end up suffering the biggest.
The good news is that it is never too late.
It's never too late.
To start something.
Government must start something. And for me, my focus is on the MCs, the local governments, MCs, DCs.
Sure.
You can make a lot of money, help solve the unemployment situation through sanitation alone. We can do this.
Yes, we can.
We can. And we must do
yes,
this.
We can.
Mr. Ahin, thank you so much
for
coming.
A pleasure.
It's always great to have a conversation with you on this. Viewers, all too soon, this is where time will allow us. Next week, we are going to have another insightful conversation. We are going to have another episode aimed at transforming the future of this country, as we've always done. Remember that you can go back to our YouTube channel and then watch over or watch again this episode. Learn from it. Let it provoke you. And together, we can save, if for nothing at all, we can save Ghana from losing $369 million each year. We can do that. The MCs and the DCs, it is a shame that you will be, leading these communities, and yet you have schools, public schools, where our children are attending without toilet facilities. It's a shame. And I'm wondering why you are appointed as the MC or you are appointed as the DC if you have such in your community. As I indicated, this is where time will allow us all too soon till we meet again next week. I'm still your host, Emmanuel Jr. And all I can say for now is good night.